hit 15 push-ups, it's time to level up with extra load. You may wonder why you need to do it, since you could just do more reps to failure and that's it, but it doesn't really work like that. Watch this video to the end and you'll see why that isn't as effective for your muscle growth and push-up progression. First of all, let's find out the exact load you are lifting in regular push-ups. This was tested in a study published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research. According to the study, in the traditional push-up, subjects supported 69.16% of their body mass in the up position and 75.04% in the down position. So for example, if you weigh 170 pounds or 77 kilograms, the load you support in the traditional up position is about 117 pounds or 53 kilograms, and in the down position about 127 pounds or 58 kilograms. We can simply take the average, around 122 pounds or 55.5 kilograms. The first effective way to increase the load is by using resistance bands. It's not convenient to put a weight plate on your back, because it keeps sliding and falling down, and not everybody has kids to help them with it. So the best way is to use an appropriate resistance band to increase the load. When you get stronger, simply switch to a stronger band to make the exercise harder. So why do you need to make it harder instead of doing more reps? Because for muscle hypertrophy, the optimal number of reps is from 8 to 12 repetitions per set, with 60% to 80% of one repetition maximum, and for the strength gain from 1 to 5 repetitions per set, with 80% to 100% of one repetition maximum. This was concluded in the scientific research. To perform the exercise, start on your knees and wrap the band around your upper back, just below your shoulder blades. Bring the ends forward and place them under your hands. Lower yourself slowly, then push back up. Repeat the motion. To stay within the optimal range for muscle growth or strength gains, you need to keep increasing the resistance of the bands as you progress. Another good way to increase the load in your push-ups is by placing one hand on an elevated surface. This can be many things. For example, parallettes, which I use at home. If you don't have those, you can use any sturdy objects that works, like a chair or a stack of books. To perform this exercise, place one hand on the elevated base and keep the other in normal push-up position. Use the lifted hand only to assist the movement, involving it as little as possible, so that most of the pressure is carried by the arm on the floor and the same side of your body. Lower yourself down and push back up with control. Try to keep the lifted arm as straight as possible. Do 8-12 reps. If you struggle to reach that range, keep practicing regular push-ups until you build enough strength to perform at least 15. Occasionally, it's good to include strength-focused workouts, about once every 4-5 sessions. If you can perform 1-5 reps with one hand lifted, that can serve as your strength exercise, and over time it will help you increase both the resistance and rep count in your hypertrophy-focused sessions. Just remember, don't do strength training in every workout, because it can be tough on your joints and tendons. Very heavy resistance puts high stress on your muscles, and when they can't fully handle it, the extra strain shifts to your joints and tendons. That's why doing it too often may become damaging. In most of your workout sessions, focus on hypertrophy. Use this variation of push-ups once you can easily perform at least 15 regular reps. If you manage fewer than 7 one-hand lifted push-ups, you are training mostly for strength. At 8-12 clean reps, you are in the hypertrophy range. When you exceed 12, start your workout with harder weighted push-up variations, which I will describe in the next block. One-hand lowering is a variation of negative exercises. Why it's called negative? Because lowering obviously is easier than pushing back up. So lower yourself with one arm and use the other only to help push back up, switching sides one by one. You can place your feet a bit wider when performing this exercise than in regular push-ups. You may use only a few fingers of your assistive hand to increase the load on your main arm when you become stronger. The next step in your progression is doing full reps on one arm. This is an advanced exercise that requires proper strength and muscle development. You can build it by practicing one arm lowering and other exercises I described in this video. To perform this exercise, set up with a wide stance for balance. Working hand under your chest, with the elbow tucked to your body. Brace your core and glutes. Switch hands with each rep. One-hand push-ups are the hardest weighted push-up variation and the most complete push-up progression. With only 3 bases of support instead of 4, they improve balance, strengthen stability, and force greater involvement of the stabilizing muscles, along with the inner chest and core. This makes them not only a test of pure strength, but also a challenge of control and coordination. Archer push-ups are also a good variation to increase the load in your push-ups. In this exercise, a similar principle applies as in one-hand lifted exercise. You place more load on one side while reducing it on the other. To perform it, place your hands wider than in regular push-ups. Lower yourself to one side by bending one arm, while keeping the other straight, and gradually turn the hand of the straight arm outward during the descent, to release pressure from the wrist. If you keep it straight, you'll be twisting your wrist, which prevents proper muscle involvement and can even be harmful. When you move back up, gradually turn the hand of the assisted arm back to the straight position. Then switch sides and repeat the motion. Each of the exercises I mentioned earlier is a basic one that puts training pressure on the main muscle groups involved in push-ups, especially the chest, front shoulders and triceps. You don't need to do all of them in every workout. It's a good option to combine 2 of them in one workout and the other 2 in another. Before every mentioned exercise, it's important to warm up properly and do 1-2 sets of regular push-ups not to failure, just to prepare your muscles for the high load. After you complete the previous basic exercises, you can do other push-up variations aimed at fatiguing your muscles to failure and loading more specific parts of the muscles. Your hand position changes muscle involvement and can increase the load on specific muscles. In the scientific study, the effect of push-up exercise at different palmar widths on muscle activities was examined. It was concluded that a narrow hand position activates more pectoralis major and triceps than a wide position. So to work your pecs and triceps more, you can put your hands in a narrow position. According to the study, serratus anterior muscle activity was greater during push-ups performed with a wide hand position. To put extra load on your upper chest muscles, lift your feet on an elevated surface, like a chair, bed or anything similar. Inner chest muscle activity is greater when push-ups are performed with the hands placed halfway inward from their normal position. Okay guys, thank you for watching. If this video was helpful and interesting, please press like and subscribe to my channel.